I wanted to get a little video just showing off the method that we've been working on recently to help Gus with his downs. So usually what I start with teaching any new behavior is I'll start with like a lure, like I'll take a food and I'll lure them into that position. And then we switch it just to a hand signal, going with that same motion. And then we'll add a word onto it. And then what we want to do is we want to eventually transition off of that word, so that, or off of the physical signal, so that all we have to do is say that word. But he was struggling with switching from the hand signal to just the word. He was kind of confused as to what to do when he just heard down. He was really relying on having that extra help, like that, right? Good. But he wasn't wanting to do it, or he wasn't understanding it with me just saying down. And we were doing a lot of reps of it, and he was kind of getting it, but he wasn't super confident with it. So I wanted to switch and try a little bit of a different method. And what this is more just allowing him to work through all the different behaviors he could try on his own until he gets the right one. So it's sort of like him really thinking, and he has to really figure it out. And then when he gets the correct one, I'm going to reward him. And that tends to help dogs figure out a lot more clearly what behavior they're supposed to do without so much help. So it makes it a lot easier to transition them off of, transition them to really subtle signals, you know, like just saying down, rather than having to do a bunch of extra help with motion and with food. And so that's what we've been working on. And he's picking it up quick. So I'm glad we were trying this. You can see that he's tied up. This is for a couple of reasons. One, it's because I want to limit the options that he can try. I don't want him coming up and nudging me and nudging me and nudging me, or jumping on me, or trying to get the food out of my pocket or the food out of my hand, which we've been working on, but he tends to want to default to either like sit or come and try to get the food, or come and nudge me and get attention. So I want to be able to just prevent that option in the first place, so he has to try something else. I also have another dog out here who is not very friendly with other dogs. Good boy, Jake. So I want to prevent Gus from getting bored and trying to go say hi to him. But anyway, I just wanted to show off Gus using his brain and being pretty good at it. So I'm not actually asking him for anything right now. I'm gonna wait, and he knows I have food, and he knows that he's gonna get food if he does something correctly, if he does what I want. So I'm just gonna wait until he does that correct thing. I'm gonna mark it by telling him good, and good means that I'm gonna bring a treat to him. And then I'll mark it a few times while he's still in that position, because I want him to really be happy, good, about being in that position. Good. And I really want him to keep trying it. Good. And then when I want him to get up so we can try again, I'll just tell him that he can get up and go find a treat that I'm going to toss. And I'll do that by just saying, find it, and tossing a treat. Now he's up, so now he can try it again. What you got to do? Good. Good. This is how we can add some stays. I don't really expect a super strong stay here because, good. Technically, I didn't ask him to actually do anything. So if he gets up, he's not like breaking a stay. Good. But I do want to encourage that commitment to laying down and staying in a down. So I'm not going to correct him if he gets up, but I'm still going to reward him when he stays here. Good. Find it. Good. Good. Now I can get him up by doing what I was doing where I toss the treat and say find it. I can also get him up by telling him that he's done with the behavior. He can get up and come get a treat from my hand. There's different situations that's useful for. I'm not going to get into that right now, but Sometimes I don't necessarily want him, to go chase a treat someplace. I might want him coming to me for the treat. But I want this to be distinct from bringing a treat to him for staying, right? Because I want to be able to reward him and then have him keep staying. But I also want to be able to reward him and have him be done. And I don't want to confuse him by using the same word, right? So the word that I have that means that he's going to get the reward from me, he's done, is yes. And that means he can get up, he's done doing the behavior, he should come get that treat from me. You don't have to worry about being like super specific. It's helpful to be super specific. And I definitely want you to focus on making sure that, that you have a distinct word for your stays. I'm saying good. And then a distinct word that means that he can get up and get a treat. But if you end up saying, yes for tossing a treat, yes, or yes for getting it from your hand, or break for getting a treat on the floor, or break getting it from your hand, it's not a big deal. I just want that stay marker word, that stay, good job, you're getting a reward, to be different from the good job, you're getting a reward, and you're done doing what you were doing. Good. But you can see here, he's figured it out. And I'm glad we switched to this because he was really struggling with just the normal method of doing it. Good. And he's picked it up really quickly since we switched to doing this. Find it. What's nice about having him tethered too is I can also work on showing him that if there's something that he wants and he can't get to it, or there's something that he wants that's like on the floor or something, he can do other things or polite things to get it, right? So if there's something that he wants and he can't reach it, or he's not allowed to have it, or he just doesn't have access to it, whatever, like the hose, he doesn't have to bark and paw and try to grab it or rush it. He can try other things, and that reward will end up coming to him. And so what I'm going to do is I can actually put the treat just out of his reach. Good. And the only way that he's going to get it is if he does something else, right? He lays down or sits or something. Good. Right now I want that down, but I just want him doing something that isn't barking at it or trying to lunge for it or trying to paw at it. Good. I'll tell him when he's allowed to get food off the floor because I have a word for it, right? I can tell him find it and toss that food for him, and that means he can get up and get that food. Same as if I have food in my hand. I really don't want him bugging me for it. If I tell him that he can follow it, that's fine, good. But most of the time, I don't want him trying to nudge my hand or nudge my pocket to get what I have. So I want him trying other stuff because he's very persistent in trying to get it on his own. Good. And so having him tied up like this kind of helps prevent that conflict with us where he is nudging me, trying to just force the treats out of my hand or trying to force the treats out of my pocket. This makes it a little bit easier for him to have to try other stuff. He can't be so persistent with nudging me because it's not going to work. And so, good. This is going to help when we start having him more loose, because now he knows that there are other options to get that food than just nudging me or trying to get food someplace else, Good boy. See, you want to get in range. He understands now that, oh, okay, I can just lie down. Good, and that's going to work a lot better. Good. And see, now that he's really figured out what behavior we're working on, he says, oh, you want me to do this thing, right, where I go all the way down on the ground. Now I can start adding a word onto it. Because now he understands this is what you want me to work on. I can start to say, okay, you know what we're working on. Well, here's what it's called, right? So I can ask for it at other times too. Down. Good. See? Good. Good. Yes. Good boy. She has a good boy. Break. Down. Good. Good. And I can add this stay onto it by moving away and rewarding. Good. for those stays. Yes. Down. Good. You'll get those moments of confusion still, but I'm just gonna wait and let him think about it. I don't want to have to help him out whenever he gets confused, because that's gonna end up with us, having to help him all the time and not having him think on his own so much. Good. And I want him being able to figure stuff out. Yes. Down. Good.